Hey guys, what's going on? It's Coach Nate with Body Transformation Lab, and in this video, I'm gonna explain why the perfect macros aren't producing the results that you were promised. Tracking macros has been labeled as the gold standard of nutrition plans. If you're not familiar with macros or macronutrients, it's what our calories come from: protein, carbs, and fats. And the only other source of calories that some people mention is alcohol, which people say is the fourth macro, but tracking macros is a more specific form of calorie counting where you're not only measuring how many calories you're consuming, you're also measuring the breakdown of those calories into three different categories: protein, carbs, and fats. So why does it work? Well, just like any other form of measurement, it provides awareness and being specific. Consider somebody who just eats whatever they want and they're frustrated with gaining weight or not being able to lose weight. They may have no idea how many calories that they're consuming or where those calories are actually coming from. So by tracking calories and macros, they can make more informed decisions around food. And this is a simplification because it's not really the point of this message, but to use this as an analogy. Imagine someone who's trying to save money, but they have no idea how much or where they're spending their money. Tracking macros is like creating a financial budget without food. Anyways, macros gets a lot of hype because they can be super useful, especially those for people who have no awareness around their food choices or their quantities. And many people have hopped on the bandwagon, so you'd imagine that we'd see a massive success of increase in weight loss, of hormonal production. But we haven't. In fact, it's actually gone the opposite direction. So what gives? If macros are so amazing, why haven't they solved all of our problems? Well, there's numerous reasons for this, and I'm gonna do my best to explain it through the rest of the video. And you may have hands-on experience with this. There's no shortage of macro-based coaching programs out there, and you've likely tried at least one of them for yourself or you've thought about it. And the general concept of macro-based coaching programs is simple. You enter your info into a database or a calculator, things like age, weight, height, sex, activity level, goals, and then the numbers that you put in will be crunched through a formula, and then it'll spit out your macro prescription. It'll look something like this. Based on your data, we recommend you eating 1,600 calories per day with 150 grams of protein, or 600 calories of that, 60 grams of fat, and 115 grams of carbohydrates. From there, you weigh and you track everything you eat, and you try to get as close as possible to those targets. And there's some free tracking apps like MyFitnessPal that'll show you how close that you're getting to your numbers. But in most cases, the coach will tell you one of two things. Number one, you're not being consistent enough, or number two, that you need to eat less. And if you aren't hitting your macros consistently and your weight isn't dropping, your coach is gonna likely put that blame on you. It's not a macro problem, it's a you problem. And if you're nailing your macros and your weight isn't moving, then your coach will likely take more food away. So there's a problem, a huge problem with this philosophy. Who says those numbers are actually right for you? What if you'd be more consistent with a different macro ratio? What if your food choices were made different? What if macros can't account for things like stress? What if your coach is constantly telling you to hit your macros that leads you to becoming more food obsessed and being perfect and developing a poor relationship with food or anxiety around it? The answer is all of the above. This is why macro calculators and cheap programs have such a low success rate. They're solely data-driven and completely miss the boat on behavioral and psychological side of things. In fact, there's so many instances where macros actually add stress, which will make progress more difficult. In addition, I've seen thousands and thousands of examples where individuals completely ignore their bodies for the sake of just hitting macros. For example, what if you're ravenously hungry, but you've hit all of your macros for the day, but you're starving? Well, those macro coaching programs will tell you, drink water, suck it up, chew gum, brush your teeth. You can do it. No, that's your body telling you, hey, something's off here. But what happens if you're totally stuffed and satisfied? It's 9 p.m. and you got 500 calories left for the day. Hey, gotta hit those macros. Time to force feed yourself, right? Hard pass. Let's just think practically here about honoring our body's natural signals. Okay, so now, there are more holes in the macro approach than a golf course. So what do? First, please understand that macros are one single tool. And just like any tool, they can be used or abused. Second, they are not the gospel. If you're using a macro calculator, there's a good chance that numbers, they're not accurate, for the simple fact that those calculators can't count for your individual nuances like stressors, lifestyle, personal preferences, personality, and a ton of other things. And they can't help you with choosing the right types of foods that are actually going to contribute to you feeling your best and staying consistent. The part is actually very underrated. Consider that you can have a meal and be really hungry an hour later, but having a meal with the exact same macros but different food choices could leave you way more satisfied for hours. And this is one of the things that we work through in our signature one-on-one coaching program, helping our clients with the food choices that make them feel their best. We accomplish this by first understanding their personality type, which gives us insight into their chemistry that will allow us to help them eat the foods that support their nature and have them feel more like themselves, have them sustained energy, and experience way less stress overall. Then we align those food choices with training, with lifestyle, and with personal preferences. Training because we want to recover from the stress of exercise and allow for proper adaptation to occur, like strength, lean muscle building, maintaining, fat loss. Lifestyle because we want their plan to feel totally natural. Isn't the goal to be successful forever? So you have to make it fit your lifestyle. Personal preferences because it's supposed to be fun. When you feel better and look better, it should be enjoyable, not a drag. We've been conditioned to believe that progress and misery go hand in hand. I call it the chicken and broccoli misery diet. Has that been working so far? We actually build in freedom and flexibility around things like date nights, social events, and other things. Our clients are often pleasantly surprised when they get to do the things that they enjoy and still reach their goals. And yes, we do use macros as a guide sometimes, but we determine the appropriate amount of tracking for the individual. For some of our clients, it means tracking daily. For some of our clients, it means not tracking at all. For me, I like to track daily. For my wife, she's not a huge fan of it. But we utilize things like this and everything in between. The most important part of this process is that we monitor daily stressors so that when things aren't progressing, it's not a matter of saying, be more consistent or just eat less. In fact, sometimes eating more gets things moving in the right direction because it closes the stress gap. We may not adjust the nutrition at all, and we'll simply implement or tweak some of the habits that lead to less overall stress and proof. So that is usually what does the trick. Ultimately, this leads to our clients losing anywhere between 20 to 40 pounds on average over a 12 to 24 week protocol. But more importantly, they gain confidence and understanding to maintain and sustain those results for life. And not to mention, it's going to balance out hormones. And we often hear back from many of our clients saying that they continued making progress and even accomplished their goals they never imagined possible. I'm sharing with you with this because it's easy to get frustrated and think macros don't work. I can assure you that it's likely the method or the program that just isn't working for you. There is an answer, there is a solution, you aren't broken, and you don't have to remain stuck. You always have a choice. Much love. See you later.